look today at chords, chords 1, 4, 5 and 6, and the major scale. So chords are built on steps of the scale. Here's the scale of C major. You see, starts on a C, moves its way up 1 octave, 8 notes in other words, until we reach another C. And we're just proceeding alphabetically, so C, D, E, F, G, back to A, B, C. So basic chords, or triads as we sometimes call them, are built on steps 1, 3 and 5 of each scale note. So, for example, the chord of C is C, E, G. In the key of C, the chord of C is chord 1. We're in the key of C, that's the main chord. We call it chord 1. And if we apply this same principle, this 1, 3, 5 idea, we can easily find out what chord 4 is. So chord 4 is the chord which is based on the 4th step of this scale. In other words, a chord based on an F. 1, 3, 5 gives us these 3 notes, F, A, C. And that's the chord of F. We're looking for the chord of G. Again, start on the note G, apply the same 1, 3, 5 principle there. 1, 3, 5, giving us these 3 blue notes, G, B, D. That's the chord of G. And in the key of C, G is chord 5. It's the chord based on the 5th step of that scale. Again, we're looking for chord 6 now. So the chord based on the 6th step of the C scale is A minor. 1, 3, 5. We've got A, C and E, and that's forming the chord of A minor. And in the key of C, the chord of A minor is chord 6, because it's the chord based on the 6th step of that scale. Now you'll notice that if you play a C on a keyboard and then play every white note until you reach the next C, an octave higher, you will have played a major scale. That's a major scale. That's the easiest major scale we could play. Start on a C, all the white notes. Just keep going until you get to the next C, major scale. But it's not the case that just playing white notes all the time gives you a major scale. If you started on a D, for example, and played all the white notes until you got to the next D, that wouldn't be a major scale. It only works starting on a C. And what we have to do is make sure that this arrangement of tones and semitones is kept intact. That's what creates a major scale. So if we look, for example, between a C and a D, we can see it's a tone because there's a note in between. So that would be a semitone. We need a tone here between the first 2 notes. And then between a D and an E, another tone, because there's a note in between. But look at this one here, semitone between this and there's no note in between here, so that's a semitone. How about between F, G? That's a tone, because there's a note in between. Between G and A, another tone. Between A and B, another tone. Between B and C, semitone. So to make a major scale, we must keep that arrangement of the tones and semitones. Tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. That's what makes a major scale. Every major scale except C will have either sharps or flats in it. Here, for example, we see the scale of F, and it shows semitones between 3 and 4, steps 3 and 4 here, and steps 7 and 8. All the other notes have tones. So between F and G, that's a tone. Between G and A, that's a tone. But here, we must change this B to a B flat to allow that semitone. Again, at the end here, we can see that that's an E, that's an F, that's a semitone. So that arrangement must be kept intact between each of the notes. We'll look at that in the case of G major. Again, remember we need semitones between 3 and 4 and 7 and 8. If we look at 3 and 4 here, you can see that that is indeed a semitone, a B going to a C, a semitone. But how about 7 and 8? If we look at 7 and 8 here, it looks as if these two notes are making a tone, F to G. But looking back here at the key signature, we can see that this tells us that all the Fs are F sharps. So this note here, an F sharp. Between F sharp and G is a semitone. So we've kept that order of tones and semitones intact to make a major scale.